you in locating areas that best meet your needs, including open seating, ADA locations, restrooms, water fountains, and live telecast locations should you wish to be indoors. Please note that saving seats for other members of your party cannot be accommodated. There are two commencement information tents located on the east and west entry gates that can provide guests with commencement program booklets and a one-page program which includes a map of the venue. Feel free to pick one up. We want you to celebrate your graduates. Standing to cheer on your graduate and take the perfect picture is expected, but we ask that you keep in mind everyone around you and be sure to be seated once your graduate has crossed the stage so as not to block others who are standing for their graduate. Ushers, university staff, and safety officers are available throughout the venue should you need any assistance. Again, welcome, and thank you all for joining us today.
Hola y bienvenidos a la ceremonia de graduación de la Universidad Estatal de Northridge. Nos alegra que estén aquí. La ceremonia comenzará pronto. Antes de comenzar, nos gustaría compartir algunos avisos. La universidad se complace con contar con todos ustedes hoy mientras nos reunimos para celebrar esta ocasión de manera cómoda y segura. Primero, para todos los graduados, por favor, diríjanse al área de formación de graduados ubicada detrás de las gradas en la parte sur del evento. Asegúrense de tener su Grad Pass oficial al momento de formarse. Habrá una carpa de información para graduados enfrente de la tienda de libros para cualquier pregunta o asistencia que necesiten. Para nuestros invitados, durante todo el evento pueden acercarse al personal de la ceremonia o a los acomodadores para recibir ayuda en localizar áreas que mejor se adapten a sus necesidades, incluyendo asientos disponibles, áreas ADA, baños, fuentes de agua y transmisiones en vivo en interiores. Tengan en cuenta que no se permite apartar asientos para otros miembros de su grupo. También hay dos carpas de información de la ceremonia ubicadas en las entradas este y oeste, donde podrán obtener programas impresos y una hoja con el mapa de la ceremonia. Queremos que celebren a sus graduados. Está bien ponerse de pie para animar y tomar la foto perfecta, pero les pedimos que sean considerados con los que están alrededor. Habrá acomodadores, personal universitario y oficiales de seguridad disponible en todo el sitio si necesitan ayuda. Nuevamente, bienvenidos y gracias por acompañarnos hoy.
Hello, and welcome to the California State University Northridge Commencement Ceremonies. We're glad you're here. The ceremony will begin soon. Before we get things underway, we'd like to mention just a few things. The university is excited to have all of you here today as we gather to comfortably and safely celebrate this occasion. First, to all graduates, please report to the graduate lineup area, which is located behind the bleachers in the South Sierra Quad. Be sure to have your official grad pass with you as you line up. A graduate information tent will be located on the campus bookstore lawn for any questions or inquiries. To our guests, throughout the venue, feel free to connect with a commencement staff member or usher to assist you in locating areas that best meet your needs, including open seating, ADA locations, restrooms, water fountains, and live telecast locations should you wish to be indoors. Please note that saving seats for other members of your party cannot be accommodated. There are 2 commencement information tents located on the east and west entry gates that can provide guests with commencement program booklets and a 1-page program which includes a map of the venue. Feel free to pick one up. We want you to celebrate your graduates. Standing to cheer on your graduate and take the perfect picture is expected, but we ask that you keep in mind everyone around you and be sure to be seated once your graduate has crossed the stage, so as not to block others who are scanning for their graduate. Ushers, university staff, and safety officers are available throughout the venue should you need any assistance. Again, welcome, and thank you all for joining us today.
Hola y bienvenidos a la ceremonia de graduación de la Universidad Estatal de Northridge. Nos alegra que estén aquí. La ceremonia comenzará pronto. Antes de comenzar, nos gustaría compartir algunos avisos. La universidad se complace con contar con todos ustedes hoy mientras nos reunimos para celebrar esta ocasión de manera cómoda y segura. Primero, para todos los graduados, por favor, diríjanse al área de formación de graduados ubicada detrás de las gradas en la parte sur del evento. Asegúrense de tener su grad pass oficial al momento de formarse. Habrá una carpa de información para graduados enfrente de la tienda de libros para cualquier pregunta o asistencia que necesiten. Para nuestros invitados, durante todo el evento pueden acercarse al personal de la ceremonia o a los acomodadores para recibir ayuda en localizar áreas que mejor se adapten a sus necesidades, incluyendo asientos disponibles, áreas a airear, baños, fuentes de agua y transmisiones en vivo en interiores. Tengan en cuenta que no se permite apartar asientos para otros miembros de su grupo. También hay 2 carpas de información de la ceremonia ubicadas en las entradas este y oeste, donde podrán obtener programas impresos y una hoja con el mapa de la ceremonia. Queremos que celebren a sus graduados. Está bien ponerse de pie para animar y tomar la foto perfecta, pero les pedimos que sean considerados con los que están alrededor. Habrá acomodadores, personal universitario y oficiales de seguridad disponible en todo el sitio si necesitan ayuda. Nuevamente, bienvenidos y gracias por acompañarnos hoy.
Oh, come on, you can cheer louder than that. Let's hear some noise. Good evening. I'm William Watkins, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, and it is my honor to open the California State University Northridge commencement ceremony for the Andrew J. Anagnost College of Engineering and Computer Science and the College of Science and Mathematics. I ask that you all please rise if you are able and remain standing while the CSUN Jazz A Band, under the direction of Professor Tina Raymond, plays the national anthem, accompanied by vocalist Minya Joy, and performed in American Sign Language by students from CSUN's graduating class.
Stripes and bright stars, through the banner let us fight. For the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets had gleamed, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Amazing. Thank you, and please be seated. How about another cheer for our signers and our vocalists? Before introducing members of the platform party, CSUN recognizes and acknowledges the Sesavatam, the first people of this ancestral and unceded territory of Sesavinga that is now occupied by our institution. And it honors their elders, past and present, and the Sesavatam descendants who are citizens of the Fernandinho Tatavian Band of Mission Indians. We recognize that the Sesavatam are still here, and we are committed to lifting up their stories, culture, and community. We'll now take a moment to watch as Dr. Rudy Ortega and Mr. Mark Villaseñor, President and Vice President of the Fernandinho Tatavian Band of Mission Indians, share with us their cultural welcome.
Witiako, Aminat, Netawan, Rudy Ortega Jr., Nononi, Tomiyar. Hello, everyone. Welcome. My name is Rudy Ortega Jr. I'm the tribal president of the Fernandinho Tatavian Band of Mission Indians, and I'm here with my family, my two sons, Tomiyar Ortega and Noli Ortega, as well as my cousin, Mark Villaseñor, who's also the vice president of our tribe. We're the first people, descendants of the people of the San Fernando Valley, who are now Fernandinho Tatavian. We descend from these villages. And we just want to congratulate all the graduates who are graduating this year, and we want to sing some songs for you. This first song is Paco. It means come and enter, as we welcome everybody for this graduation. The next song is a bear song that we're going to sing as we're in spring and celebrating everyone's graduation. Paco que ma'a, Paco que ma'a, Paco que ma'a, me ay que ma'a, me ay que ma'a, Paco que ma'a, Paco que ma'a, me ay que ma'a, me ay que ma'a. what será, será, what será, será, what será, será, no hunga, no será. What será, será, no, what será, será, what será, será, no hunga, no será. What será, será, no, what será, será, what será, será, no hunga, no será. What será, será, what será, será, what será, será, no hunga, no será. Thank you.
And we thank them. Celebrating this occasion with us today and seated on the platform are President Erica D. Beck, members of the President's Cabinet, and university leaders. Also, for the Andrew J. Anagnost College, we have Dean Dr. Hussam Tutanji, Interim Associate Dean Dr. Rutin Jia, and department chairs, Dr. Adam Kaplan from Computer Science, Dr. Anwar Al-Rumi, Civil Engineering and Construction Management, Dr. Ashley Gang, Electrical and Computer Engineering. Let's see who's got the most students here. Dr. Vidya Nadikola from Mechanical Engineering, Dr. Jimmy Gandhi, Manufacturing Systems and Engineering Management, and Dr. Sami Malouf, Professor of Civil Engineering and Construction Management, and one of this evening's mace bearers. For the College of Science and Math, we have Interim Dean Dr. Simon Garrett, Associate Dean Dr. Robert Espinoza, and Department Chairs Dr. David Bermudez, Biology, Dr. Paula Fischhaber, Chemistry and Biochemistry, Dr. Jen Cotton, Geology, Dr. Terry Fuller from Mathematics, and Dr. Debbie Prasad Chaudhry, Physics and Astronomy, and Dr. Jenny Vindergon, Associate Chair and Professor of Biology, and one of this evening's mace bearers. In addition, we have Faculty President Dr. Jeff Wigley, Associated Students President Kiri Saravia, CSUN Foundation Board Member Dr. Robert Taylor, and finally, President and CEO of Autodesk namesake, and the namesake for the College of Engineering and Computer Science, and this evening's keynote speaker, Dr. Andrew Anagnost. Also seated in the audience is special guest Ivan Axelrod from the CSUN Foundation Board. Will all the members of the platform party please rise and be recognized? Thank you. Well, graduates, you've made it. This is your big day. You have worked very hard to be here, and we are here with you. We want you to be present in this experience of a lifetime, an experience that you did the work for, and around you are your family and friends who are all here to cheer you on. So you ready to get on with this? You ready to get on with this? Well, let's have our president get us started, President Beck.
Thank you. Well, good evening, Matadors. I thought we were here to celebrate. Let's try one more time. Good evening, Matadors. As president of California State University, Northridge, it is my honor to welcome you to this momentous occasion in your educational journey. One you have earned through hard work, sacrifice, and what I can only assume was a genuinely concerning amount of caffeine. I've seen you in the caffeine in your hands. Of course, none of you arrived at this moment alone. Behind each of our graduates is a stadium full of the friends and family members who supported you through challenges and celebrated you every step along the way. So graduates, before we begin this celebration, let's take a moment to thank the people who stood by you in this journey. Thank you, friends and family members. It's true. Tyler did it. Many of you are the first in your family to arrive at this moment, and I want to see just how many. So if you are making history for your family as the first to earn a college degree, would you please stand if you are able and make some noise? That is a beautiful sight. You may be seated. Well done, and congratulations to all of our graduates. Each of you had a unique journey that brought you to this very moment. And at this time of year, I often reflect upon my own. It began in kindergarten with my very first report card, where my teacher noted, "Erica is a very smart girl, but she simply must learn when to stop talking." I know this is exactly the news you are all hoping to hear as I begin my speech. As it turns out, she was pretty much right. Now, of course, the first part, the smart girl comment, made me smile. The second part was actually hard to hear, but it was actually more important, because it offered an opportunity for growth. She was the first in a long line of teachers and professors who facilitated that kind of growth for me. You know the ones that I mean, the educators who care enough to challenge us, who say not only you're doing really well, but also here's where you still have room to expand, who help us hear something difficult, wrestle with it honestly, and ultimately emerge transformed by it. They are teaching us to be open to the possibility that we don't have the whole picture just yet, and that is not a weakness. That is the space where learning happens. CSUN faculty showed up to make that investment in all of you, in classrooms, labs, studios, and hallway conversations every single day, to help you see your own talent and potential, and to help you see where your opportunities for growth lie, saying the harder things to hear. Both will serve you well as you enter the next chapter in your journey. So graduates, let's show the faculty how much we appreciate them, and let's show them how loud we can be in expressing thank you, faculty. Graduates, the degree that you earn today affirms the knowledge and skills that you have attained so far. What it cannot fully capture is the person you have become in the process of earning it, nor can it anticipate the ways you will continue to evolve in the years ahead. The combination of the confidence that comes from being championed and the humility that comes from being challenged has prepared you not only to succeed, but to help lead our shared future. You know how to ask the question beneath the question, to wrestle with problems that evade easy answers, and to recognize that every person carries a story that can simultaneously broaden your worldview and deepen your humanity. You have learned to treat feedback not as judgment, but as invitation to let challenge refine you and to grow not only in knowledge, but in perspective, empathy, and self-awareness. And that is profoundly important. The challenges of our time are real, and they are demanding. Questions of how we care for one another across difference, how we build institutions and ideas that endure, and what we owe to those who follow. There's no syllabus for what comes next, no grading rubric, and unfortunately, no professor you can email at 11:59 p.m. to request an extension. But you leave here with something far more enduring than a credential. You leave with the confidence to step forward even when the path is unclear, the compassion to truly hear others in a world that often speaks too loudly, the resilience to persevere even when things get difficult, and the humanity to make space for others to walk beside you. These are not just academic outcomes. These are the qualities that our world most urgently needs in every profession, in every community, and in our shared future. Life will continue to ask hard things of you. It will surprise you, humble you, and sometimes ask you to give more than you think you have to give. And in those moments, I hope that you will remember this very special place we call CSUN. Not just the classrooms or the assignments, but the people. The mentors who believed in you before you fully believed in yourself. The professors who pushed you because they knew what you were capable of. And the classmates who shared the same long nights and uncertain mornings. And remember what you became here, not just what you learned, but who you became while you were learning it. Because you did not just earn a degree, you became someone ready to step into the world with strength, with purpose, and with the power to leave it kinder, softer, and more equitable than it was before you arrived. And when in doubt, remember that you have learned lessons here on campus that will serve you for a lifetime, even if you don't embrace them right away. Just ask my kindergarten teacher, who is so very proud today that Erica finally learned when to stop talking. Congratulations, class of 2026. We are so proud of you. And now I am delighted to welcome a very special guest who knows exactly what this moment means. Dr. Andrew J. Anagnost, President and CEO of Autodesk, one of the world's leading technology companies, empowering designers, engineers, and makers to build a better world. As the official design make platform of the LA 28 Olympic and Paralympic Games, Autodesk is designing a smarter, more sustainable Los Angeles, a city of the future that will inspire the next generation of change makers. Dr. Anagnost began dreaming of his own future right here as a matador, but by his own telling, he wasn't always certain he'd attend college. His path to higher education wasn't a simple one, but he discovered his passion and purpose here at CSUN. He earned his degree in mechanical engineering. I knew they were going to have something to say about that. And then he went on to earn both a master's and a doctorate from Stanford and a postdoctoral fellowship at NASA. He sees himself in every one of our students, and that conviction has fueled a generosity toward this university that is as personal as it is profound. He judges our senior design project showcase, opens Autodesk's doors to our student interns, and brings our faculty into industry conversations. He established a scholarship honoring his late mother, herself a proud matador. And last year, in recognition of his extraordinary impact and investment in our students, CSUN renamed our College of Engineering and Computer Science in his honor. And tonight, graduates, you are the very first to carry the new college name on your diploma. The Andrew J. Anagnost College of Engineering and Computer Science. Matadors, please help me welcome Dr. Andrew J. Anagnost.
Good evening, graduates. Are you happy to be here? Are you happy to be here? All right, that's a good thing because commencement speeches are a really strange thing. Unless you're lucky enough to get some famous entrepreneur, an athlete, or maybe a comedian, you're likely going to be stuck listening to a string of ramblings that somehow confer some wisdom none of you are able to acquire on your own. But really, it's just a bunch of crap that worked for some old person that you don't even know or never met. But I'm here, so I gotta say something. And hopefully I can say something you remember for more than 10 minutes. So as someone that was once young, I can say with conviction that youth is not unwise, but it is a bit narrow in its wisdom, and it tends to be a little bit more impulsive in its application. And as someone that is now old, I can say with conviction that age is not uniquely wise, but it is broader in its wisdom and maybe a little bit more measured in its application. So if you're predisposed to tune me out because of my age, my daughter does, so you might also too, my race, my gender, my social status, or some ideology or stereotype haunting your brain, I ask you only this. 5, 10 years from now, just listen to this speech again. Give it one more chance. Because here is something that I know to be true about all of you. You have more grit than most, and you need to use it. Your difference is your superpower, and you need to leverage it. And you have a path to impact, and all of you need to follow it. Now, I know all of these things. Use your grit, leverage your difference, and follow your impact are important. And if you do them, you will live a good life. You may or may not get rich. You may or may not be famous. You may or may not even do the things you expect to do. But you will have what you need. You will be surrounded by people that love you. And you will be fulfilled. I know all of this because I am one of you. And I know very few of you. But I believe in all of you. All of you. Now, as for grit, it comes in many forms. All of you know what form it comes in for you, and each of you know how to use it. Now, when I left CSUN, my summer internship turned into a job at Lockheed. It was my first job. Now, while I was there, I had the chance to work with engineers from UC Berkeley, Caltech, all manner of lofty places. Some were my mentors, some became my friends, but one decided to be my nemesis. For him, I was an insult to his existence, to his life efforts. He criticized my pedigree, he minimized my work, he found every flaw and ignored every success. When I came to work one day, wearing a pink tie, he belittled me like a high school bully. Now, grit isn't without feelings. You know, that hurt. All of it hurt. It made me doubt myself. It made me feel small. And yet my professors at CSUN, you know, they believed in me. My Caltech educated manager believed in me. You know, my friends believed in me. And so it came to pass that day after day, I wore that pink tie. Now, how long I wore that tie gets longer every time I tell this story. Okay, by the time I'm 80, that tie will have been on my neck for an entire year. But what stays true is that I wore that tie until no one looked at it anymore. And everyone looked at me differently. So sadly, despite what media attention says, small acts of defiance rarely change the world. But they always change how the world sees you. They always change how the world sees you. So choose your acts of defiance carefully, because they will define you. Now, you will likely meet many people in your life that hurt you. And when you do, I encourage you to do this. You go home, You stare at your wonderful, hard-working face in the mirror. You give yourself a big smile, and you say, fuck 'em! Now, can you do that? So what are you going to do? I suspect that's a first. Sorry for those of you who are offended by that. But then more seriously, I want you to do something that's a little bit more difficult. I want you to forgive them. Okay, these people don't know what they do. They're trapped in this weird illusion, one where the system always rewards people that follow a checklist. Let me tell you, it does not. Ray, I forgave you decades ago, and I hope your career has been everything you wanted it to be. Forgive them, and they have no power over you. Having grit means you don't see yourself as a victim. Having grit means you don't let others define who you are. Having grit means you take a stand, even if it's an absurd one. Now, as for your difference, it truly is your superpower. All of you will see the world differently from many people around you. And all of you will need to learn how to tap into that difference if you want to shape the ideas around you. Not everyone is going to appreciate your difference. And sometimes you'll adapt to the expectations of others as you navigate their world. And that's okay. But if you adapt too much, you lose connection to what makes your ideas special. People often make the mistake that being liked is critical to their success. But you can't stay true to yourself, true to your difference, and be liked by everyone. If you did, you would always be adapting to others, and you wouldn't be different at all. In reality, it's more important to be respected than liked. So after graduate school, I worked at a startup. At startups, if you don't need to be in a meeting, you're not in the meeting. So decisions get made quickly. Everyone that needs to know knows. Now, when I moved to a big company 30 years ago, Autodesk in fact, I learned that people that don't need to be in meetings want to be in meetings anyway. Now, as you might imagine, this annoyed me, because people that don't need to be in a meeting, they slow everyone else down. So I started telling people to leave meetings. Not long after I joined the company, I asked the chief marketing officer to leave a meeting. That did not end well for me. In fact, it ended so badly, the CEO called me an asshole in front of hundreds of people. Spoiler alert, asshole is not how I view my identity. I was a crusader for executional velocity, a courageous champion of the right and the just. Thank you for seeing that. And it was courageous to tell people to leave meetings. But I didn't do the scholarship to understand how the company worked. And I didn't have the empathy to know how my actions would land. The result was that I was disliked and dismissed. You can be impactful when you're disliked, but you can't when you're dismissed. My difference wasn't making a difference. I was courageous, but courage without scholarship is reckless. And without empathy, it's just mean. So I took the feedback, I stuck to the unpopular change I wanted to make, but changed how I made it. 28 years later, the company accepts that not everybody needs to be in a meeting. And though I'm not universally liked, I am respected for helping the company move faster. Carol, if you're out there somewhere, thank you. Feedback is a gift. We all need to be liked by someone some of the time. That's called being human. But we don't need to be liked by anyone all of the time, or certainly by everyone all of the time. And yet, to be impactful, you must be respected by most of the people all of the time. Lose respect, and you lose everything. If you want to leverage your difference, remember, it's more important to be respected than liked. Which brings me to impact. Some say you should follow your passion. Some say follow your talent. Follow your passion is what someone says when all their difficulties are behind them. They've already made it, and they think they followed their passion to get there. Follow your talent can leave you barbecuing ribs on the patio for a living. We all have many talents, but only some of them impact our lives in meaningful ways. That's why I like to say, follow your impact. Follow the path where you find yourself making a difference over and over again. The path that leverages your passions and your talents. So I want to challenge all of you to find out what your impact is. And honestly, you're going to need every bit of your grit and difference to do it. Because today's world is a lot tougher than the world I knew at your age. You have AI reshaping every career you will explore. You have a strained and dangerous political environment. And you have the very real risk of global conflict in your lifetime. But despite all of that, I know you can do it. I know you can do it. I found my impact by doing a variety of jobs. Jobs I loved, jobs I didn't love, jobs I knew how to do, jobs I had to learn to do, and I did them all with 100% of my effort. Nothing was beneath me, and nothing was above me. Variety gave me room to explore and room to fail. I found my impact by failing, by being willing to fail, and failing many times. Failure was a feature, not a bug. It showed me where my abilities mattered and where they didn't. Failure taught me about myself, and it taught me humility. I stand here today doing a job I neither aspired to nor knew I could do, and I got there by keeping track of where I made a difference, and then taking on challenges that I thought would make the next difference. One decision after another, leading to the next and the next, sometimes with a plan, and sometimes completely unsure where it all ended. Always chasing impact. And I want you to remember this, because it's really important, that the people around you help you find that impact. Your friends, your partner, your coworkers, the people you work for and work for you. They all make you who you are. Choose them wisely and honor them, because no one rises alone. Madeleine, ma chérie, dis-moi sans toi. Dis-moi sans toi. Honor them, and they will lift you up. And with that in mind, I want to tell you something about this speech. When I first sat down to write it, I did imagine myself in this moment looking out at all of you, and I visualized reaching every one of you with what I had to say. But I knew that reaching just one of you would have an impact, that one was enough. So with that confession, and the acknowledgement that you face a very uncertain world, I encourage you, all of you, to imagine the life you hope to live, knowing all you imagine will not come true, but that many things you can't imagine will, and their sum total will define your impact. You have more grit than most, and you will use it. Your difference is your superpower, and you will leverage it. And you have a path to impact, and you will follow it. And because of that, you will never be lost. Now, before I go, I want to acknowledge that many of you have traveled far to get here. You've sacrificed, you've overcome, you've triumphed. You know, that's worth celebrating. So for those of you who can stand, please stand. Okay? Please stand, come on. Now, if you don't want to dance, kind of do the church choir thing? Because, you know, no one's judging you, ladies and gentlemen. They're judging me!
I make no apologies. This is me.
There is something always new at Cal State University, Northridge. Let's give another cheer for Dr. Andrew Anagnost. We thank you for sharing your journey and those inspiring remarks and dance moves. I want to take just a moment. We failed to introduce one person on our platform party. You'll meet her later on. Amani Langston, who is representing the Alumni Association today. Happy to have you here. So we are now privileged to hear from Marine Barsegian, graduating from the College of Science and Mathematics, followed by Christopher Butler, graduating from the Andrew J. Anagnost College of Engineering and Computer Science, to address the graduating class. Come forward.
Good evening, class of 2026. I want to start my speech today with a short story about my dad. My father makes chandeliers. He runs a small workshop in Kazakhstan, and his craft is patience. He assembles light one piece at a time, trusting that something beautiful will emerge in the end. I am his daughter, Marine Barsegian, graduating this year with a degree in biology and the honor of being a Wolfson Scholar. When I left home to come to CSUN, my father passed his last savings into my hands. Every dollar was ours in his workshop. And because low-income international students are not eligible for financial aid, his belief in me was the only safety net beneath me. Maybe yours was a parent working overtime, or a friend who talked you out of quitting, or maybe it was your own stubborn refusal to give up. It looked different for all of us, but it helped us keep going. I know I'm not the only one at this ceremony who's graduating despite the odds. Some of us worked double shifts after lectures. Some of us faced unstable housing or called home pretending things were fine when they were not. We each had our own version of the distance between where we started and where we wanted to be. What helped me in these moments of hardship was this campus and the people on it. Today, I want to recognize the people who made an unfamiliar place feel like home in study rooms, in hallways, in labs, in this beautiful library behind me where we all complained about assignments and somehow became friends. CSUN gave us more than a degree. It also gave us mentors who rooted for us along this journey. I will never forget the day Dr. Van Buskirk took a chance on me as a freshman with no experience. She made space for me to ask questions, make mistakes, and slowly grow into the scientist I am today. I simply would not be walking across the stage without her. And now I want you to take a moment. Close your eyes and picture someone who made this walk possible for you. Maybe it's a parent who sacrificed so you can have this moment of celebration. Maybe it's a professor who supported you throughout this journey. Or maybe it's the barista who had your coffee ready every morning during finals week. Hold that person in mind because they are here today too, in every way that matters. In my head, I imagine my family who helped me reach this far. And I want to tell them, Shnorakalutsun vor havatatselekins. My father always said he never doubts the chandelier while he is building it. He believes in light before he can see it. For years, I couldn't fully understand that. But then I looked around at all of you, and now I do. Because look at us. Every single one of us doubted ourselves at some point. Every single one of us wanted to quit, but didn't. We pushed through, we persevered, and we deserve this moment. Congratulations, class of 2026. We earned this light. Now let's go share it with the rest of the world. Woo. Thank you.
Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Come on, make some noise. Can you hear me okay? All right, there we go. Well, hello, my name's Chris. Very cool to be up here for the first time, but just wanted to kind of take it all in and really acknowledge everyone that's been here, and I get to look at all of you guys now. So I only have 3 minutes, so I'll get started now. To the class of 2026, esteemed faculty and beloved families, it is a distinguished honor to share this momentous day with you. We reached the finish line, and today is a beautiful celebration of our shared resilience and future adventures. Standing on this stage holds a profound and bittersweet weight. Yesterday, May 14th, was exactly 1 year since I lost my father, Thomas Butler, to cancer. As a first-generation college student and an only child, he was my greatest supporter and deepest connection. Excuse me.
You got it, you got it.
Thank you.
Right here.
While balancing finals and launching a new student organization, I sat by his hospital bed until his final moments. Don't hate, only love, was his truth and his final words. This phrase carried me through the rest of my college career and will for the rest of my life. But this message of resilience isn't just about my personal journey, it's about all of us. Every graduate here has faced their own late nights, silent struggles, and personal sacrifices to wear that cap and gown. We did not arrive at this milestone alone. We are here because of the people who laid the groundwork for us. We are here, excuse me. We are here because of the people who laid the groundwork for us. We are here to tell you, excuse me. We are here for the people who laid the groundwork for us. We are here for the people who dedicated their life to our success and for those who relentlessly believed in our potential. So my greatest hope today is to remind all of you how truly important and capable you are. To tell you that the impact you have on the world is greater than you can imagine. So Matadors, as we cross this stage, let's carry their love with us. Let's do it for the ones who cannot be here today. Let's do it for the ones who came before us. Let's do it for the ones who will follow. So Matadors, let's go out there and change the world. My name is Christopher Butler. Thank you, CSUN. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Morene and Christopher, for sharing your deeply personal story and for inspiring us with your courage. And congratulations to both of you. Greetings, everyone. I'm Dr. Meera Komaraju, the University Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. The Andrew J. Anagnost College of Engineering and Computer Science and College of Science and Mathematics would like to give special recognition to those students who have demonstrated outstanding scholarship and other special achievements while at the university. These students may be identified by the honors medallions, cords, and sashes they are wearing. I now ask those graduating with academic and other special honors to please rise if you are able and receive our applause. Thank you, and please be seated. I now invite Dr. Hussam Tutanji, Dean for the Andrew J. Anagnost College of Engineering and Computer Science, and Dr. Simon Garrett, Interim Dean for the College of Science and Mathematics, to highlight two students who serve as examples of the excellence and extraordinary achievement that can be found among CSUN's accomplished student body.
Thank you, Provost Komaraju. Good evening. It is my great pleasure to present an extraordinary student from the Andrew J. Anagnost College of Engineering and Computer Science. Vanessa Montejano, please rise. Where is Vanessa? Here she is. While I speak, Vanessa, briefly about your accomplishment, please keep standing. Probably it's going to be a little bit long. Hang in there. Vanessa Montejano is a mechanical engineering student whose journey reflects resilience, determination, and academic excellence. A first-generation college student, she was inspired by her parents' sacrifices working in agricultural and construction jobs to pursue engineering as a path to opportunity and impact. Despite significant personal and financial challenges, Vanessa has excelled academically, maintaining a 3.93 GPA. Yeah, that's a lot, I know. A 3.93 GPA while balancing rigorous coursework, research, and professional experience. What began as a pursuit of financial stability has evolved into a passion for designing technologies that improve lives, particularly in rehabilitation and assistive systems, an area she plans to pursue throughout graduate study. Vanessa has distinguished herself through research and innovation, contributing to projects in the CSUN Bio-Inspired Mechanics Lab and the Smart Prostatics Senior Design Project, where she helped develop advanced haptic feedback systems for wearable robotic devices. She has presented her work at national conferences and major university research venues and applies her skills professionally as an applications engineer. As secretary of the Society of Women Engineers, she also committed to mentoring and community service. Faculty describe Vanessa as exceptionally driven, innovative, and self-motivated, and an engaged researcher who demonstrates initiative, leadership, and resilience, and whose work ethic and curiosity set her apart. Vanessa's dedications to engineering and service positions her as a future leader committed to expanding access to life-changing technology. At this year's honors convocation, Vanessa was recognized as one of the 4 outstanding graduating seniors for the class of 2026. Vanessa, we are proud of you. Congratulations, Vanessa.
Nobody told me they were going to be such tough acts to follow. Thank you, Dean Tutanji. It's my honor on behalf of the College of Science and Mathematics to present an extraordinary student for additional recognition. Marine Barsegian, please rise if you're able while I speak briefly. There she is. While I speak briefly about your accomplishments. Marinee Barsegian, her journey began as an outstanding graduate of the College of Science and Mathematics, and she reflects resilience, intellectual excellence, and compassion. A first-generation college student who arrived in the United States alone at age 17 from Kazakhstan. I can't even imagine that. She was driven by the loss of her grandmother to Alzheimer's disease. A defining experience that has that has shaped her path towards becoming a research physician. graduating with a perfect 4.0 GPA. In cell and molecular biology, Marinee is recognized as the College of Science and Mathematics Dean Scholar and the 2026 Wolfson Scholar, the highest honor awarded to an undergraduate at CSUN. She ranks among the top students in her cohort and within the top 1% of students taught by biology faculty. Since her freshman year, she has conducted research in Dr. Cheryl Van Buskirk's lab, investigating the relationship between stress, sleep, and Alzheimer's disease using C. elegans, which is a little tiny worm. She has co-authored peer-reviewed publications, including as first author, and presented her work at national and international conferences. Her research has earned numerous honors, including first place at C-Symposium and the CSUN Presidential Scholarship. Beyond the laboratory, Marinee has supported hundreds of students as a tutor and peer learning facilitator, and has provided compassionate care to patients through her work at Kaiser Permanente. As she prepares to pursue an MD PhD, no small feat, Marinee is committed to advancing scientific discovery alongside compassionate care. The college proudly recognizes her as an exceptional scholar and leader whose impact will extend far beyond CSUN. At this year's honors convocation ceremony, Marinee was presented with this year's Wolfson Scholar, the highest academic honor for the class of 2026. Well done, Marinee.
Thank you, Dean Tutanji and Interim Dean Garrett. Provost Komaraju will now present the candidates for the master's degree.
From the College of Engineering and Computer Science, the Departments of Civil Engineering and Construction Management, Computer Science, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Manufacturing Systems Engineering and Management, and Mechanical Engineering. And from the College of Science and Mathematics, the Departments of Biology, Chemistry and Biochemistry, Geological Sciences, Mathematics, and Physics and Astronomy are represented by the graduates at this ceremony. I ask that all graduates for the master's degree please rise if you are able. President Beck, I have the honor of presenting to you the graduate class of 2026. These candidates have completed the requirements for the master's degree as prescribed by the state of California and the trustees of the California State University, and they have been recommended by the faculty of California State University, Northridge. Candidates, please continue standing as President Beck confers your master's degree.
Are you ready for this part? Okay, I think they're ready. Upon the recommendation of the faculty of California State University, Northridge, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Master of Science in Assistive Technology Engineering, Master of Science in Biochemistry, Master of Science in Biology. It's a competition, biology knew this. Master of Science in Chemistry, Master of Science in Computer Engineering, Master of Science in Computer Science, Master of Science in Electrical Engineering, Master of Science in Engineering Management, Master of Science in Geology, Master of Science in Manufacturing Systems Engineering. Master of Science in Materials Engineering. Master of Science in Mathematics. Master of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Master of Science in Physics. Master of Science in Software Engineering. And Master of Science in Structural Engineering. With all the rights, honors, and responsibilities pertaining thereto, congratulations to our master's candidates. You may be seated. And now Dean Tutanji and Interim Dean Garrett will present their candidates for the baccalaureate degree.
From the Anagnost College of Engineering and Computer Science, the departments of Civil Engineering and Construction Management, Computer Science, Electrical and Computer Engineering, Manufacturer Systems Engineering and Management, and Mechanical Engineering are represented by the graduates in this ceremony.
From the College of Science and Mathematics, the departments of Biology, there they are, Chemistry and Biochemistry, Geological Sciences, Mathematics, nice, Physics and Astronomy, okay, are represented by the graduates in this ceremony. All candidates for the baccalaureate degree, please rise if you are able. President Beck, we are honored to present to you the undergraduate class of 2026.
Okay, I'm feeling some enthusiasm here. Upon the recommendation of the faculty of California State University, Northridge, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Biology, Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry, Bachelor of Arts in Environmental Science, Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics, Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry, Bachelor of Science in Biology, Bachelor of Science in Chemistry, Bachelor of Science in Civil Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Computer Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Computer Information Technology, Bachelor of Science in Computer Science. I think they're winning so far. Bachelor of Science in Construction Management. Bachelor of Science in Electrical Engineering. Bachelor of Science in Engineering Management. Bachelor of Science in Engineering Management Technology. Bachelor of Science in Geology. Bachelor of Science in Mathematics. Bachelor of Science in Manufacturing Systems Engineering. Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Bachelor of Arts in Physics. Small but mighty. And the Bachelor of Science in Physics. With all the rights, honors, and opportunities pertaining thereto, congratulations to our baccalaureate degree recipients. You may be seated, and it is my pleasure to welcome your Associated Students President, Kiri Saravia.
Good evening, everyone. Graduates, and congratulations. Having served as your Associated Students President this past year has been an honor, and it's now my privilege to announce the moment everyone has been waiting for. Hearing your name called as you cross the stage is significant, and your accomplishments as a CSUN graduate.
All right, my turn now. Degree recipients, please follow the directions of the marshal to line up and cross the platforms as your name is called. Afterwards, please return to your seats as directed by commencement staff. We ask that guests please remain in your seats. The aisles must be kept open until the end of the ceremony. Out of respect of our graduates and the safety of our guests, noisemakers are not permitted. In CSUN tradition, we will be sharing jubilant fist bumps, and now we're going to call it Andrew's dance moves as well. President Beck is going to show you how to do the dance now.
Jeffrey Lucas Peterson.
Now reading names from the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering.
Christopher Ryan King.
Gavin Austin James Douglas. Giovanni Bisogno.
Indica Upamal Jayasundara.
Jorge Gutierrez.
Pranav Pradeep.
Grace Sazo.
Joel Miranda.
Christian Robles. Matthew Tyler S. Salvador. Kirthi Vijay. Prem Sunita Chatan Shah.
Nagme Nazar.
John Paul de la Cruz Cortina. Sarah Ali. Adrian Amarila Gomez.
Shri Gaurav Ravipati.
Khiyati Priya Kotla.
Joshua D. Garner.
Ketan Sai Mahesh Popopu. Uday Kiran Kari.
Lakshmi Narasimha Prasanth Alam.
Ashish Kumar Harshad Bhai Kacharia.
Archan Vias.
Saurabh Mahesh Gaglani.
Viranshu Paruparla.
Akshita Saluja.
Kiran Joshi.
Eugene Harrison Cathy. Peter Cameron Beal.
Muhammad Aslam Khan.
Dinesh Saradi Buddhi. Sri Hari Haranada Reddy Ambavaram.
Nabin Kumar Jaiswal.
Saketh Thaniki.
Venkata Swaroop Kumar Chanda.
Darshan Manjapa.
Vijay Sala.
Ibrahim Ilyas. Anas Muhammad Ilyas. Blake Edward Kilgore. Irvin Mauricio Merino.
Benjamin Aaron Orellano.
Bryant A. Cuenca. Jeremiah Henrik Bennett.
Manny Vartanyan.
Sina Kodabakshi.
Mustaqimur Rahman.
Jonathan Duarte.
Jamil Riyad Jamus.
Kaito Fukuyama.
Jacus Sikmaten Renante. Hamza Ashraf Suleria. Juan Carlos Sendejas.
David Estacio Kimball.
Kenneth Martin Gale. Giovanni Manuel Caballero. Andy Ha. Rodrigo Espinoza.
Alex Koo. Benjamin Tian Duke Win.
Samuel Alexander Fishback. Jaya Satya Sri Bandaru. Tarun Kumar Gunapudi.
Cynthia Portillo.
Sherifat Solebo.
Catherine Crystal Pos Kihiviks.
Jasmine Martinez.
Amanda Gita Arst. Samira Cordero Morales.
Akil Muravat.
Armando Caldera.
Brian Matuan.
Anthony Lee.
Ankeen Aristakasyan. Ulysses Aragon. William Chavez.
Yair Ugalde.
Christian Tyler Hendricks. Jonathan Galindo. John Gomez Guevara.
Jonathan Pina.
Carlos David Estrada. Celeste Nicole Duran.
Zachary Martin.
Abraham Rodolfo Corona.
Ashish Namdeo.
Suren Burj Salyan. Daniel Elijah Selnick. Antonio Anzora Jr. Vartan Chakrian. Vincent Valentino Cruz.
Danieva Mipupu Singlai.
Melanie Victoria Torres Godoy. Melissa Ramirez. Gabriela Sarai Renteria.
Carlos Antonio Fuentes.
Mark Anthony Zuniga.
Leila Miles Kadura.
Hem Pankaj Nagu.
Jesse Rosario Ramos.
Benjamin Tomas Felix. Andrew Jesus Garola.
Amanda Macarito.
Adrian Solorzano.
Gael Esparza Lobatos.
Javier Alexander Narvaez.
Charbel Abu Afesh.
Imran Kasim.
Robert Rabenkogo Ebulia.
Daniel Garcia Aguilar. Sean M. Felker.
Matthew Joel Stupak. Edgar Voskanyan.
Christian Rene Moran.
Kadero Rene Cho. Christopher James Gorospi. Leo Dada.
Samuel Torres.
Edgar Gutierrez.
Ignacio Martinez Lapara.
Yuval Karoli.
Jonah Cook.
Scott Keener.
Shailesh Mathi Alagan.
Mohammed Mohammed.
Macy Varga. Marcus D. Renty.
Lenny Maron.
Monte Hatamian.
Furquan Ahmed.
MD Iftakharul Islam.
Dipta Roy.
Trisha Reddy Mandati. Parath Kumar Reddy Kadmore.
Shubham Rajesh Deshmukh.
Qazi Mushfiq Rafid.
Shaibaz Khan Mohammed.
Ahmed Hatim Samahai.
Miluska Desiree Hueta.
Tiempo Abrogena Paraguya.
Lucero del Carmen Aguilar Larios. Luis F. Almanza.
Now reading names from the Department of Manufacturing Systems, Engineering, and Management. Stephen Lucas Thornton.
Richard Quach.
Matthew Kulahai. Carlo Ibora. Parveen Chima. Rishil Amin.
Khalid Hussein Shah Fayaz Ahmed Shah.
John Harold.
Edwin Sanchez. Luis Fernando Rodriguez. Andre Wijaya.
David Joseph Caporal.
Diana Lorena Mano Salvatores.
Rosemary Lisette Coraquillo. Lena Dean. Mary Ellen S. Flores.
Orlando Montenegro.
Harnek Singh Dogra. Chris Boat.
Hossein Kandandel.
Joseph Thomas Staley.
David Borg-Holzer. Gebre Gebrekidan. Alexia Ferreira Santos.
Miguel Angel Lopez.
Anuhya Dudi.
Prajwal Suresh.
Pornesh Suresh. Manan Kumar Ambani.
Chaitanya Alkesh Lakhdir. Yihui May. Dhaval Ramesh Bhai Patel.
Kumar Dikshant Rai.
Bhavisha Shailesh Kumar Ahir.
Swarna Nadipudi.
Tanuja Nagesh Sawant.
Shravya Kaulagi Ravaraj.
Preeti Shivkumar Alagundagi. Brendan Daniel Garcia de Alba.
Christian Emmanuel Miranda. John Pena.
MD Hossain. Marlo Enrique Cruz.
Christopher A. Pineda.
Dumbre Rutuja Sanjay.
Shraddhank Poonam Babasaheb Shende.
Sushmita Ravindra Jadhav.
Narine Arkelian.
Shivam Ramesh Gadge.
Parati Purohit. Ishan Kapoor.
Salih Prafula Dushkar.
Gagan Thapa.
Shabazz Muhammad Kareem Ansari.
Syed Mujibullah Hussaini. Misbahuddin Muhammad.
Abdul Rahim Khan Mohammed.
Umesh Reddy Mullah.
Ricky Thanmai Satapathy.
Yashesh Kumar Vijaykumar Bhavsar.
Ajinkya Niraj Talajia. Charanjit Singh.
Darshit Ashok Bhai Gajera.
Nikhil Vaman Naik. Pradeep Putta.
Meet Kumar Dinesh Bhai Gantala.
Piyush Nana Kasbe. Pranshu Kothari. Uday Meenakshi Dhananjay Khilare.
Priyanka Leela Hirachand Belekar.
Kushank Pandurang Samkawar.
Sishir Nair.
Raja Muhammad Balal Zahir. Abhinav Sharma.
Kush Pravin Patel. Nishant Niraj Karandikar.
Mehdi Hassan Asif.
Vedant Mohan Taravade. Omid Tavafi.
Michael Nuranikalte.
Karan Sharma. Akash Anita Anil Toradmal.
Chirag Usha Chandrakant Poshirkar.
Chayank Sheetal Pravin Birud.
Siddhartha Hemchand Nidiginti. Durga Siam Kumar Jagarapu.
Luis Eduardo Arroyo Turcios.
Navjot Kaur.
Molia Umavati Ravikumar.
Tyler Brian Kraus.
Alexander Byron Tarash.
Jacob Miller.
Kiara Elidia Rodriguez.
Prakriti Bhatnagar.
Allison Isabelli Reynoso. Sophia Yu.
Kason Jordan Dupree.
Andres Romo.
Misael Mesa Mendoza.
Ahmed Hossam.
Austin Allen Spaliero.
Jorge Avina.
Christopher Talura.
I got
Brett Moore.
Chris Ayang.
Now reading names from the Department of Mechanical Engineering.
Mehdi Rozunwan.
Rafe Habib.
Asaf Uddin Sohaib Mohammed. Wilmer Marino.
Carlos Rodriguez.
Dalton Christian Caldwell.
Vijaya Lakshmi Kumari.
Farhan Hafiz.
Chandan Manjunath.
Mohan Sai Lakshmi Pati Chaudhary.
Bhavana Imani.
Manish Ramesh.
Rakshit Prabhakar. Pranav Narasimhaswamy.
Samrad Ganesh Shetty.
Adarsh Degala.
Nishant M. Gowda.
Akshay Sudhirmane.
Praveen Kumar Gokul Ravichandran. Juan Daniel Bautista. Matthew Abdulnor.
Haniel Ulasivenson.
Christopher M. Alias.
Tung Win.
Nong Lin Tun.
Randall Engelhart.
Cole Millett.
Nathan Gabriel.
Sharvani Parthaben.
Lusaper Bogosian. Melissa Yen Mei Chow.
Aaron Padilla.
Isaiah Mahan Rayoyo.
Gerbert Funes Alfaro. Charles Rin Chamberlain Houle.
Noah R. Tertios.
Nico Hornquist. Angel Xavier Esparza. Sergio Amaya. John Emmanuel Barragan.
Brendan Michael Williamson.
Andrew Pamintuan.
James Michael Velasco.
Tony Nopdow. Brian Barlog.
Gaspar Martinez.
Paul Edward De Filippo.
Gilberto Rosendo Flores.
Jose Alberto Flores. James David Hurst. Corey Jacob Guter.
Nathan Klotzel. Kevin Zachary Nixon.
Jacob Alexander Walker.
Eric Huben. Eduardo Fabian Avila Lopez.
Joshua Peng Ludke.
Tyler Bailey Bernardino.
Rafael Villalobos.
Juan Enrique Campoy Palacios. Ashton Diniz.
Pedro Alexander Periañez.
Andrew Dalgiallo.
Jesse Alejandro Torres Rodriguez.
Mark Anthony Diaz. Nicolas Vicente Figueroa Reyes.
Christian Pantoya Zavala. Jonathan Mizrahi.
Cesar Flores.
Carson Thomas. Kevin Robledo. Guillermo Reina Asensio.
Karina Gonzalez.
Marcial Monreal.
Richard James Fernandez. George Bailey. Justin Brown. J.C. Andrew Carranza. Jose David Gonzalez.
Vanessa Montejano.
Evelyn Suyen Herrera. Christian Guerrero. Nico Catanzarite Alexander.
Cassidy Lai.
Shia Howard Rubenstein.
Angelina Isabella Argot.
Gustavo Angel Vela. Alicia Schwartz.
Paula A. Guerrero. John Cannon.
Caleb Bradley Wilmarth.
Ronald Enrique Palma.
Albert Shamoon.
Kylie C. Lovato. Alejandro Lara Torres. Ruben Angel Oliveira.
Diego Barajas.
Dominique Polanco.
Diana Dowse.
Connor Michael Phelps.
Damian Villanueva.
Ricardo Jauregui.
Eddie Ziede.
Jacob Jacob Alebian. Guy Francois Griff.
Ryan Thomas.
Adrian Gutierrez Corral. Levin Nurses Ananyan.
Christopher Lopez.
Victoria Jane Bures. Leo Harutunian.
Alexis Guillermo Villa.
Pedram Cohanseg.
Frank Ramirez.
Adrian Morales Mendoza.
Daniel Alexis Gomez. Ruben Javier Chavez.
Jose Armando Martinez.
Luis Tobar. Matias Ignacio Torres Galas.
Anais Francis.
Jacqueline Macias. Carla Monserrat Jimenez. Luis Fernando Orellana Herrera.
Samuel Chacon.
Jorge Antonio Ramos. Sergio David Rivas.
Hao Kwang Fan.
Jorge Alvarez.
Oscar Garcia.
Justin Koji Ishikawa.
Mahyar Hashemi Alavi.
Yaroslav Tretiak. Katsuki Yasuda.
Eric Martinez.
Nathan Jorge Handal.
Kanan Shaw. Kurt Angelo Trocino. Danielle Hurtado Salinas. Harshjot Saini. Now reading names from the Department of Computer Science.
Pavan Chava. Yashaswini Molareed Hara.
Pranati Jamalpuri. Krupaben Alpesh Kumar Patel. Arunachalesha Malikarjuna Kembhavimath.
Swathi Alapati. Sandhya Bathina.
Akshay Tiwari.
Mohit Kantamneni.
Leah Yagobi. Amir Rashidi.
Abdul Rahman Riyadh Al Dulaimi. Arturo Alvarado.
Dylan Moon.
McKenna D. Bembrick. Justin Noah Nario Dumindin. Benjamin Corrales.
Ayush Thapalaya. Ali Zain Raza.
Al Azmini.
Salil Monga.
Sivan Shahijanian.
Julianne Lei Do. Connie Chen. Ruth Foster.
Svarun Soda.
Josh Kosov.
Yashwanth Gandu. Guna Yazwanth Gade.
Kartik Manem.
Ramesh Irumalla. Jaya Prakash Gadapudi.
Wesley Allen Charles Richter.
Chaitanya Pafanlanka.
Akshat Jitendrabai Ramani. Raj Rudani. Sahil Nilashbhai Sheta.
Malhar Kantibai Gadia.
Dhruv Vagadia.
Yash Kishorbhai Panchiriya.
Drewil Jayesh Palani.
Shyam Jesukabai Thoma.
Zorawar Jaiswal. Sahiti Kota. Prokshit Purni.
Sharanya Bura. Fenibahen Ganshiambai Bodar. Dhruvi Dhirubhai Godhani. Shrushti Shailesh Kumar Guti. Akshit Bharatbhai Bingradia.
Aryan Prafulbhai Lakhani. Rudra Jagdishbhai Patel.
Prakriti Shakya.
Purv Rakeshbhai Master.
Brian Antonio Gutierrez Tejada.
Lawrence Tamasian.
William Malipun.
Colby Michael Snook.
Srujana Priya Bandaru.
Brendan Ismale.
Elijah Sagaran.
Jonathan Gilbert Aguilar. Alexander Paul Boutsalis.
Andrew James Page.
Angel Cortez Hildo. Denver Kude. Dante Avetian.
Jonathan Patrick Johnson.
Alfredo Ulloa.
Brian Antonio Bonilla. Levy de Luis Sanchez. Farshad Azam. Jackson Alexander Chacon.
Om Rakesh Thakur.
Antras Felsted. Brent Colin Alpuerto. Brent Nicholas Osala. Robert Earl Clarkson. Brian Alexander Granados.
Tin Nguyen.
Cipher Christian del Rosario Santa Cruz.
Lance Mariano. Miguel Angel Jauregui.
John Eric Tambunco Soriano. Jason Tran.
Aiden Sean Fox. Juan Carlos Gardea.
Ivan Enrique Juarez.
Owen Scott.
Litzy Castrajón. Mario Enrique Esparza Vizcarra.
German Josue Landaverde Figueroa.
Julia Carolina Gomez. Jacob Cohen. Kenneth Osmaro Flamenco. Richard Bruce Amy.
Derek Alexander Newton. Felix Montes Flores.
Ana Patricia Arechiga. Amari Griggs.
Ileana Madrigal.
Yasmin G. Zubair.
Cesar Rafael Molina Lopez.
Diego Yahir Valenzuela.
Sean Raj Madanu.
Diran Torosian.
Brandon Emerson Diaz.
Andrew Mazlumian.
Kevin Garcia.
Evelyn Tran. Inab Roy. Raul Ramirez.
Rustin Korhani.
Gus Axelson.
Lance Jimenez.
Nima Jafari.
Gevork Ararat Chalikian. Param Desai. Edward Echoberry. Siamara Dashwang Sotalani Gomez. J. Deep Singh Athwal. George Farujan Danielyan.
Jacob Rodriguez. Christopher Sai.
Isai Areola.
Mireya Soto Carrillo.
Shri Vidya Nutari.
Vram Gazarian. Joshua Gianni Gonzalez Hahn.
Christopher Lagos. Safayatul Islam.
Wali Amini. Devashish Aurora.
Sumeda Upal.
Kavishka Savindi Paliaguruge.
Phoebe Nicolette Almaves Astor.
Itzel Sosa Barragan.
Veronica Aragon Lopez.
Meline Mirzakanyan.
Jose Angel. Alex Hernandez Abrego. Jason Jose Del Cid Diaz. Matthew Burleson. Giselle Adriana Burgos. Spencer William Kylat.
Ansh Kamlesh Bailal.
Arman Abgarian. Jeremy Azar.
Sanya Jean.
Damian Alberto Garcia.
An Yak Jin.
Edwin Francisco Medina.
Thomas Scott.
Mauricio Enrique Andrade Garcia. Jonathan Joaquin Baca.
Benjamin Kyle Maines.
Kusha Salim Khan.
Samuel Antonio Escobar. Justin B. Alagarbas Canfield.
David Manasirian. Martin I. Madrigal. Zeel Kishorbai Kukadia.
Manan Raja Hespai Bura.
Rudra Kumar Ashok Bhai Hunt.
Irvish Jermish Boy Devani.
Alex Wu. Eduardo Tunstad.
Zach Ahadi.
Martin Rudy Rodriguez.
Rafael Jr. Garcia. Ryan Messia Cabanza.
Jorge Armando Sierra.
Christopher Ara Garibian.
Ricky McCobb.
Russell DeVries.
Stephen Navarrete.
Michael Guerrero.
Emmanuel Sanchez.
Yvonne Renee Amaya.
Jose Sanabria.
Andrew Ponce.
Kian Win Vasu Figueroa.
Alejandro Castillo Santos. Elijah Joseph Cortez.
Xavier Ramos.
Alexander Leontiev. Marcus Petrov. Spencer Levine.
Odelia Shilo.
Sarkis Sako Samvel Asatrian.
Talene Keshesh. Maria Alexandra Lois C. Peralejo. Javier Vipul Kumar Prajapati.
Luke Che.
Ashley Pedraza.
Crystal Brittany Magana.
David Samuel Sterine.
Christian Diaz. Justin Asen. Taha Faruqi.
Arpi Mangasarian. Abdul Moiz Imran.
Victor
Ari Geiger. Diana Veronica Hernandez.
Christina Murad.
Tyra Marie Nicole Espiritu Kiachon.
Julian Jueco Lozada.
Sean Anthony Serrano Cano. Isabella Francesca Martinez Felipe.
Dana Noeli Ramirez.
Coco Yamgo Chian. Ismael Popal. Kevin Wynn.
Tyra N.D. Haynes. Jacob Gerard Hooker.
Casey King.
Eric Santiago Mendoza,
Shelly Sarah Ullman, Daniel Kian Sarmiento,
Mohita Durgesh Prajapati.
Jordan Gottlieb,
Jose Gabriel Lopez Reyes, Javier de Jesus Polito, Josh Pinojas,
Anthony Leung Taylor,
Shobhit Mehta,
Simran Shetty.
Kyle Coleman,
Dylan Hong Than Vu, Marlon Victor Rios Nolasco, Devansh Sharma,
Kevin Gabriel Pacheco,
Jose Ramon Espinoza, Elmer Castellanos Solares,
Mercedes Tamayo,
Ariel Abrazaldo,
Anthony Rodriguez Mencos,
Rene Barsegian,
Guadalupe Santiago Ramos,
Sipan Arakelian, Austin Andre Bernal,
Dylan Sokolov, Sofia Unkovskaya,
Joseph Forsyth, Christopher Russell Butler,
Stepan Karapetian, Justin Kalski,
Ethan Trong,
Devdat A. Prajapati,
Yurazik Bogosian, Ryan Hakimi,
Anita Jalili,
Tommy Takahashi,
Janelle Malikin,
Ruslan Abdulin,
Ralph Edward Ramirez,
Kevin Castellanos, Arutin Garamanyan,
Alejandro Calderon.
Roman Kyle Palma,
Parneet Singh, Amy Catherine Truong, Jonathan Yun,
Yu Long,
Harrison Alexander Kuti,
Miguel Santos Coy, Alan Ruiz, Lena Nadir Shah,
Ryan Matthew Franco, Zedric Arias, Christian Estrada,
Miriam Natalie Pastrana,
Ahmad Shauka,
Brandon Pacheco Thompson,
Abraham Saldinas,
Eric Arzumanian, Monica Giselle De Leon Cardona,
Saira Martinez,
Arshan Saravana Bhavanandam,
Kevin Justin Baharestani,
Sara Majdi Sorhabi, Arthur Wilson Lazarian,
Jacob Michael Valmeo, Tyler Nicholas Rothlader,
Leo Agazarian,
Manolo Rodriguez,
Mohi Elhel, Sky Dalangin,
Anthony Pacheco.
Fazlul Huck Faisal, Joshua Del Shad, Esai Arias.
Mathieu Evidente Resurreccion. Kevin Volkov.
Emilia Mahmoudi.
Miriarosa Sinanian.
Serine Megerditian. Dylan Ibrahimi.
Andrew Bogosian.
Arham Warsi.
Melvin Josue Mata.
Thomas Ayad.
Marco Antonio Lozano.
Photios G. Casper Bamporides. Mina Girgis.
Andy Jacob Rodriguez.
Ramon Quintana Zepeda.
Alex Shamian.
Adrian Nazarian.
Alex Sarkisian. Pren Eric Shanazarian.
Vako Aharonian.
Amir Guy Shabo. Jose Francisco Toban Rodriguez.
Christopher Casas Serrano.
Marco Minas. Leopoldo Martinez. Sean Paquito La Chica.
Daniel Flores.
Farzad Ramin. Robert Sievertson. Rupert Rodriguez.
Craig Forrest Edmondson. Yennefer N. Hernandez Paxtor.
Niall Jericho as Luza.
Casey Alas.
Darius Dwayne Young.
Feather Hoshizora. Nicholas Balint. Varjes Gasparian. Arman Ahunzadeh.
Ivan Lopez.
Julian Aguiar Jr. Milton Ernesto Castellanos Miranda.
Sevada Shagulian.
Emily Morazan. Abigail Brigitte Orellana.
Vishal Dineshbhai Chaudhary.
Francis Haki Nguyen.
Joshua Nasser Guzman.
Siri Sunkavali.
Elena Hossein. Kevin Furman Flores.
Brian Wynn. Pyongwoo Moon.
Luis Miguel Acosta Rivera. Jesse William Dillon. Lernick Avetician. Eric Eduardo Espinoza. Tachaku Namdi Awujo.
Riley William Vincent. Christian Rusanovsky.
Irene Deravanesian. Diego Aragon Guzman.
Rona Shagaldian.
Noura Mukhtar.
Zoe Duval.
Reshma Sheikh.
Remy Claire Danielle Enriquez. Jacob Kyle Arce. Luis Delgadillo. Dylan Farias.
Danielle Rutillo.
Miguel Angel Loyola.
Jose Michael Mondi.
Brandon Alexander Nunga Dutt.
Syed Zakir Ali Rizvi. Leo Yegiayan.
Renu Sarah Mohan.
Kevin Wyatt Gomez.
Odilia Manu.
Tabitha Oluwatofumi Sulaiman. Fahim Ramez.
Maxim Petrov.
Jason Alexander Ross.
Brian Andrew Castro. Ridwan Ahmed.
Afnan Ahmed Khan.
Karanveer Singh Gruel.
Jericho Antonio Lebron.
Cameron Simmons. Gevork Shil Gevorkian. Jonathan Scher. Randy Rocael Reyes Barrios.
Marcia Mayer.
Imelda Abida Agebsar.
Milkias Getachew Casa.
Isaiah Oscar Bernal.
Aisha Isabella Vizcarra. Andy Jair Ruiz.
Valerie May Chavez. Malia Leanne Cockrell. Jadine Fernandez Borman. Alan Matthew Guevara. Patrick Banting. Miguel Alejandro Alfaro Concha. Mackenzie Noel Quejada Garcia.
Sergio Antonio Soto. Eyal Zur.
Manshan Singh Hothi.
Anthony Jael Jimenez. Carlos Daniel Moreno.
William Kevin Ramos. Alberto Rubalcava. Alberto Domingo Sandoval.
Dylan Osida.
Mausam Kaur Bajwa. Joaquin Banting.
Novali Plasencia.
Daniel Herrera.
Carlos Turcios. Carter Vernon Wood.
Ricardo Gonzalez. Andrew Tan Hua. Christian Herrera.
Now reading names from the Department of Civil Engineering and Construction Management.
Henry Nicholas Matthias.
Arlene Casillas.
Haider Zuriat.
Marissa Martinez.
Ruby Saini.
Michelle Alexandra Acosta.
Luis Mauricio.
Jonathan Villaflor.
Christian Gabriel Navarro.
Mina Wasif.
Itzvan Jose Paruta Hernandez. Melissa Ann Moores. Maj Jamal.
Engelberto Garcia de Alba. Alyssa Faith Dvorak.
Iman Nur Mohammadi. Kaif Mohammed.
Emda Marufur Rahman.
Abhishek Leonard Madimadugu. Abdul Aqib Mohammed. Abdul Nawaz Khan. Saeed Mohammed Abdul.
Abu Hena Mahmoud Hassan.
Francisco Javier Paniagua de Leon. Sana Imran.
Evelyn Castellon.
Gabriel Matuk.
Andrew Paul Gledhill.
Martin Stone.
Sudha Sharvani Alampati. Eliot Dirm Kurdichian. Alex Der Movasezian. Youssef Azam Badr.
Mustafa Sadeghi Mirlotfola.
Amir Poya Hedayat.
Arbi Zamani. Shaylin Rowan.
Daniel Eduardo Perez Delgadillo. Emiliano Pinedo. Alex Mendoza.
Angel Brian Hurtado. Jason Scott DeWeese.
Jose Antonio Torres.
Sofia Alcala. Anthony Hiron. Jaime Alcala Jr.
Joseph Rudy Lopez.
Ramon Hernandez.
Christopher Valen.
Christian Garcia. David Jesus Contreras Cortes.
Isaac Beltran Urzua.
Damian Griego.
Nazir Kuja.
Santiago Holdson Barrera.
Edward David Villa. Matthew Swanson.
Divine Eze Opubor.
Pratiksha Ramtel.
Cecilia Garcia Ceniceros. Domenica Enriquez.
Adriana Noemi Marquez.
Manuel Alejandro Gallegos.
Sonny Rostami.
Ricardo Ernesto Hernandez. Ernesto Campos. Alana Mia Alcantara.
Jared Rimando Shuho Matsubayashi.
Denise Ruiz.
Eden Cahabon. Jovanes Armin Agabashian. Daniel Alamillo. Katie Maritza Espinoza.
Anna Nico Sargsian. Ashley Jeanette Varela Mendoza. Lara Ainsley Ray.
Farhan Mohammed.
Chandini Bita.
Susette Miranda.
Jessica Halley. Herbert Farfan Bass.
Jose Pacheco.
Harry Simidian.
Isaiah Garcia.
Brenda Yasmin Zaragoza.
Brian Justine Morris.
Christopher William Escobar.
Sander Rodriguez. Martin A. Silva Hernandez. Norbert Shaverdian.
Alec Danielians. Haik Aslanyan.
Susana Lucia Ramos. Alessandro Rivas.
Jeffrey Navarro,
Joshua Dubuque,
Eric James Miller,
Haley Elena Tilt Bergen,
John Billy Panlilio, Veronia Wajid Nasif,
Marian Torres Ledesma, Adam Alexander Soto,
Joseph Atala,
Efren M. Vasquez, Jesus A. Vergara,
Jason Matthew Jose, Oscar Montiel,
Anthony David Flores,
Brian Rojas,
Heather Wynn,
Nazif Hassankale,
David Anthony Martinez,
Angie Aldina Carrillo, Leslie Liseth Diaz,
Emily Jocelyn Lopez, Mateo Mendoza de Leon,
Juan Paulo Pasco Cipriano,
Oscar Lopez Bajena, Daniel Alejandro Maldonado,
Juan Rodriguez,
Alejandro Garay,
Edris Edenilson Parada Escobar,
Gage Webster,
Abed Portillo, Christian Lopez,
Oscar Estrada,
Nagam Yakub,
Vostank Malekian,
Andrew Mariano Cortez Avalar,
now reading names from the Department of Biology.
Marine Barsegian,
Darlene Elizabeth Mendez, Chanel Monique Jacobo, Tanya Palayo,
Hannah Bellafard,
Kimberly Lynn Kagan, Alex Mendelson,
Max Spruti, Jade Zonas,
Mackenzie James Hine,
Sahil Santosh Panda,
Christian Romero, Kenta Shimizu,
Ethan Javier Cano Colindres, Luis Edgar Duran, Talene Demirji, Aren Gevorgian,
Marco Aurelio Rodriguez Ausenac,
Diana Mena,
Raquel Arlene Blanco,
Samantha Hernandez Yao, Sarah Sabrina Sahakian,
Sofia Nika Nigdao Palma,
Jocelyn Romero Martinez, Mawish Zahid,
Justin Ezequiel Castro,
Jocelyn Lopez Basto, Svetlana Kuznetsova,
David Antonio de Marcos, Colleen Roslyn Aldridge,
Edith Timurian, Oliver Vu de Leon, Angelisha,
Malik Khatab,
Asma Begum,
Varshini Namana Sudakar,
Lucine Nalbandian,
Hallie Garcia,
Tamina Petrosian. Kayla Denise Malari.
Emily Michelle Sanchez.
Arpi Hakup. Elin Hairapetian.
Nelly Natasha Simonian.
Talia Avedian.
Gabriel Salazar Martinez.
Charlene Marie Manuel Guarina. Kayla Cortez. Taline Hartunian.
Melissa Wynn.
Anthony Joseph Romero.
Kenneth Mario Mazariegos. Bao Knock Wynn.
Kiara Dawn Santa Lucia Gupalan. Luke Wayne Bellinger.
Amy Ramos.
Marley Renee Jansen.
Savannah Lynn Ganter.
Leslie Eileen Ramirez. Talar Tarabian.
Aline Keotunian. Sebastian Hauregi.
Jonathan Ayala.
Angelica Villa Espinoza.
Leanne Ashley Vergara Ejercito. Hazel Camila Alvarenga.
Giuseppe Rodney Kalinawan Isip. Arnold Kanichi Kajiwara. Jezreel Punzalan. Amanda Lopez.
Michelle Blank.
Johan Sanchez.
Nadia Diaz. Mary Darmangian. Soljanya Priya Bandaru.
Shannon Gwyneth Rodriguez.
Athena Irene Logan.
Zoe Grace Homewood. Jose Luis de la Cruz.
Felix Min. Samantha Isabella Molinari.
Daniel G. Cruz.
Jacob W. Nolasco. Mohammed Ibrahimi. Muhammad Khan.
Eduardo Serta.
Lasarine Jamaica Sullivan Ross.
Anthony Rodolfo Aguilar. Daniel Hakobian.
Shant Makurtian. Kareem Mossad.
Jamie Lee Banos. Jasmine Echeverria. Andrew Sherrard Brizuela.
Brandon Sanchez.
Helen Kim.
Jordan Julian Tonnerman.
Emmy Aravalo.
Luciano Romero.
Luis Nuno.
Daniel Yatzker.
Vanisha Hengthanaf Haibun.
Caitlin Ogalino.
Sean Angelo Frias. Adrian Arias.
Sabrina Sharma. Taylor Marie Williams.
Carelli Gonzalez Medina.
Caitlin Rodriguez.
Kamali Coca, Joshua English,
Daisy Elizabeth Rivera,
Andrew Javier Gutierrez, Megan Sracha Durr,
Susanna Kanayan,
Tamanna Akhtar Hasib, Anastasia Astakova,
Isa Sibal,
Richard Kavuma, Scarlett Kadka,
Derek Avrand, Preni Davudimasihi,
Luis Reyes,
Isaiah Estrada,
Rachel Elizabeth Lemaster,
Itzel Dolores Huerta, Mireya Cruz,
Leslie Rodriguez, Amanda Rebecca Salas,
Nilton Steve Quintanilla, Mujgan Nasari,
Idali Duarte,
Juliana Camille Limbrain,
Amir Samuel Lucas B. Philabs, Philopatir Habib,
Jonathan Kirillos Rascala,
Alexander Isaias Landeros, Marisol Stephanie Mena, Moises Matthew Inestroza,
Bijan Sebastian Gonzalez, George Alsaya, Anthony George Dergazian,
Paulina Juarez Estevez, Jocelyn Lagunas,
Carla Alcaraz,
Takaya Leonti Maxwell,
Taylor Francesca Collins,
Christine Alexandria Morquecho,
Rosie Tadavosian,
Asila Khan,
Evian Giovanni Alfaro, Katrina Faye Booth,
Brianda Isamar Martinez,
Abraham David Garcia Castro, Matthew Luis Guzman, Oscar Daniel Gomez Ramos,
Samantha Summer Martinez,
Eileen Caroline Cadenas Morales,
Farhad Kobakival, Ryan Jacob Leeds,
Scarlett Shamirian,
Angel de Jesus Amorales, Viviana Clarice Casillas, Destiny Brianna Cruz,
Elisa Maria Vidauri,
Nutia Chanidza,
Jeremy Nepal,
Angel H. Garcia,
Elizabeth Marissa Torres,
Josel Angeli De Leon,
Carlos Jonathan Martinez,
Alexis Tellez, Keith Michelle Schaefer,
Emma Gulbasarians,
Liren Lindsay Phillips,
Violet Grace Hedrick,
Casey Tada,
Julia Carter, Eric Khan Babai,
Joseph R. Safe,
Ovsana Crison Jurekian. Lucy Caragulian.
Natalie Ophelia Avanesian.
Cristala Dimitra Macrides.
Idali Ruby Rios. Nausin Oktar Ria.
Stephanie Gutierrez.
Haley Elizabeth Ramos Altamirano.
David Contreras.
Daniel Angel Padron.
Lilit Ivazian.
Jessica Von Han Le.
Aurelia Morgans Wibowo.
Sebastian Jesus Ludena.
Lauren E. Butler.
Brittany Q.
Louis Durgham.
Diana Voskanyan. Anahid Tajian.
Sarah Kafardian.
Angelina Hasmik Gregorian.
Mariam Hamal Haddad.
Sidi Harshida Himanshu Savalia.
Mariam Ushakayan. Sarkis Sam Ushakian.
Paulina Liliana Figueroa. Daniel Harold Dannon. Brooke Nalea Bermudez.
Adele Marlene Jimenez.
Maria Resco. Now reading names from the Department of Chemistry and Biochemistry.
Matthew Arle Huerta. Nicolas Amiri Delavi Garcia.
Sean A. Lang.
Matthew Alvarez.
Karina Petrosian. Julie Rose Liwag. Alexa Lemus Ramos.
Amalia Natalie Kame.
Justin Kyle Molina Perez.
Marcos Antonio Valenzuela.
Dylan Capiti Fenton. Connor James Blair.
Donald Elijah Trujillo.
Learn Gleo.
Anthony Miguel Marquez.
Liana Yengoyan.
Camille Juman.
Aras Arabian.
Sofia Alana Ramirez.
Matthew William Colgan.
David Samuel Schlavin. Lanson Wyke.
Nicolas Garrido.
Derek E. Planillas.
Spencer Hobie. Jeremiah Alexander Garcia.
Now reading names from the Department of Geological Sciences. Marvin Ivan Serrano.
Nicole Barraza.
Alina Yang.
Audrey Dornadon. Angela Marie Manalastis Fabian. Alex Dumit.
Lorena Liliana Toledo Carranza.
Nicholas K. Doolittle.
Colin Martin.
Evan Claire Stoll Hayakawa. Maya Feldberg Bannatyne.
Jacob Miller.
Sophia Yu. Emily Segura. Kelly B. Segura.
Lindsay Giselle Melendez.
Andrea Virginia Garcia. Bianca Delgado.
Areli Uribe Ramirez.
Justin Quiros.
Caleb Lee Waitley.
Brenton Campa.
Dane Kalman.
Leah Marie Dunn. Elizabeth Gomez Marquez. Alex Argueta. Christian Ray Garcia.
Ave Leandra Briones Mullen.
Fernando Cedillo. Nancy Carrasco. Cadence Elizabeth Collette. Valerie Marie Contreras.
Tatiana Joy McIntosh. Claudia Teresa Ordonez. Janelle Hoson Lacanilao.
Brenton Allen Hatchie.
Daisy Ortega.
Ruby Yanet Calderon.
Lucia Yvette Valdez.
Rachel Emily Gilmore.
Lexis Martinez. Kenny Lamb. Arusiak Malikian.
Now reading names from the Department of Mathematics. Yama Walizada.
Anthony Steve Henriquez. Samuel Fuentes.
Ricardo Ramirez.
Mark Angelo Pasqua. Caitlin Melendez.
Vincent Carmine Alegrete.
Michaela Anoy.
Alyssa Justine Mauro.
Anna Kachu.
Christina Ter Matevosian.
George Bogosian.
Kyle Yuya Pardee. Antonio de Jesus Martinez.
Marissa A. Ackerman. Brenda Elise Benjamin.
Andrea Silva. Ivan Alex Slezko. Christian Villalobos.
Alexia Garcia.
Rigo Solis Jr.
Edison Beltran Molina.
Ociel Anthony Trujillo.
Tigran Frunze Pogosian.
Christian Hernandez. Ethan Michael Bolita.
Grady Lewis. Timothy Q. Sung Lee.
Nika Rastegari. Christopher Rascon. Sandra Angie Tinoco.
Shefa Nale.
Amanda Carol Gray.
Kenneth Valentine.
Nicholas John Curie. Jacob Dominic Fermi. Luis Enrique Castellon.
David Ramirez Orozco.
Kendra Elizabeth McKee.
Now reading names from the Department of Physics and Astronomy.
Brendan Orr. Caleb Lair. Jesus Poblano.
Pascal Roni. Kenechi Fortune.
Anahit Marajlian.
Bree Alaman.
Teresia McDessie.
Alexis Crystal Torres.
Fatima Escobedo. Jerome Anthony Brown III.
Jesus Santiago Manzo.
Pablo Abalos.
The last but certainly not least of our students, Kiara Rodriguez.
Well, it is now my absolute delight, graduates, to welcome Amine Livingston, class of 1996, founder, president, and CEO of O2 Engineering Projects and Construction Management, and an alumni legacy partner, to officially welcome our graduates into the California State University Northridge Alumni Association.
Graduates, welcome to the CSUN Alumni Association of more than 435,000 Matadors across the globe. Your horizon shines with possibilities, and the world needs the gifts you have to share. We are tremendously proud of you. Please reach out to your fellow Matador alumni as you navigate your post-graduation journey. And we invite you to stay forever connected to the university and the Alumni Association. Congratulations and welcome to the CSUN Alumni family.
Thank you, Amine. Baccalaureate degree recipients, are you ready? Would you please rise? In academic tradition, the student who has not yet earned a degree wears the tassel to the right of the mortarboard. When the degree is conferred, the scholar moves the tassel to the left and joins the select company of highly educated individuals. In recognition of your new status, would all recipients of the baccalaureate degree please move your tassel to the left? Friends, family, colleagues, and community members, it is my great pleasure to present to you the class of 2026. To officially close this ceremony, I ask that faculty, staff, and CSUN alumni rise if you are able for our university alma mater, Hail to the Matadors, under the musical direction of Professor Tina Raymond and the Jazz A Band, and performed by Minia Joy. You can find the words in your program if you need them. Once the alma mater has concluded, please remain in your seats to allow the faculty to recess. This is an opportunity for us to demonstrate our deep gratitude for the faculty and their expertise and support that they have provided to our new graduates. Congratulations once again to our graduates. We are so proud of you, and remember, once a Matador, always a Matador. Well done.